Hey, welcome back again, guys, to another video by me, Spectral Blood. And this has been so far, this has been another ongoing series for me, or for us, rather. But we are going to continue on the third chapter of It Moves. I'm terrified. I'm utterly, not just terrified, I am horrified at some of the shit I've run into in this game. It really compares well to Creepypasta Land and B Edition. It's just the chapters are a lot shorter, and there's the only challenge really is puzzle. So that's what I'm seeing in it so far. But honestly, I'm invested in this little kid now. I'm invested in this kid. Primarily because I understand his fear. I understand his horror. I understand his terror. You'd honestly be really surprised at how common situations like this are. Not just that, but more like, and not just in terms of monsters or spirits or or any of that, but more like nightmares, or even in comparison, stalkers or children kidnappings, human trafficking, all of that stuff going on. You're walking down the road, you run into a freaking creeper that's just following you everywhere. I mean, hell, I understand his fear. Oh. But anyway, without further ado, I apologize for my ramblings, but without further ado, a huge skull. Lovely bunch of coconuts we have here. Oh hey, I can actually sprint. Not that I know what the hell's going on. Hey, what? Why did the screen just... Another huge skull. A banner on a long pole. It's too old and torn to make out details. Hey! The screen, it's getting darker as we go, and I don't really like it. It's getting more menacing. Ah, hey, what the fuck? I landed on a pentagram on the floor, first of all. That alone is incredibly discomforting. Some kind of machine. I mean, I see this, but what the fuck is this machine for? First of all. Second of all, why am I hearing things from outside? Third of all, I don't like this situation because this is a giant fucking maze. Looks almost like the lights on the runway at airports. Except for they have blood on them. So your statement's in incredibly high debate. Some kind of altar? Yeah, for Satan! It's a satanic fucking altar, you bastard. Don't you know? Don't you have any kind of religious insight, even for a kid? I'm sure at your age, I know for a fact, even at your age, I had religious insight. I knew about Satan. A large fan circulating the stuffy air. By the way, in no form or fashion do I claim to be religious. I just have religious insight. And I do not claim to know everything, so please, I'm just not even going to go there and continuing that. That's just, I'm not even going to continue that topic. It's very controversial. But still, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? I'm so lost. Like, everything's making weird sounds, but... like, I don't know what I need to do. And this bothers me. What bothers me more, however, is the fact that I landed on a goddamn pentagram. That spells Diablo. That is the Spanish word for Satan. I opened something and I really hope I didn't unleash some kind of beast. God damn, I hope I didn't unleash some kind of monster in this process. I really hope. Because this kind of shit right here is literally the most terrifying thing. I'm very claustrophobic, so tight and enclosed spaces. I am naturally afraid of the dark, so that's not helping me either. And I don't do anxiety well. How are you? How am you? Tell me how I am, you little bastard. I probably shouldn't be cussing the monster that's trying to kill me. It's probably a bad idea, guys. But, you know, logic. I'm kind of curious now as to what opened up this time, but I'm Hey, motherfuck. What are you? I can barely see you. But, hey, Satan. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm just gonna rush around here. I can actually sprint now. Even though it's, like, really bothersome. Because that tells me that I'm gonna have to run. And why would I need to save if I'm just gonna die? Or why would I need to save if it's just gonna tell me I need to die and still continue the game? So this is kind of really fucking sketchy for me. A creepy mask? No shit, it's a creepy mask. And there we go. I have unleashed Lucifer. That's unsettling as fuck. I'm gonna turn up the, no, I don't need to turn up the desktop volume. You've already got it. Okay, cool. Drop the smile, asshole. And it's gonna make me continue. I think I've unleashed Satan himself. I'm horrified and mortified and satanified. And there's blood now. How wonderful. Am I seriously going about some satanic ritual here? This kid is not smart. I apologize, kid, but you are not wise to go through with some satanic ritual right now. You are not smart. In fact, you're the dumbest motherfucker I've seen. Because nobody in their right mind would willingly go. What the fuck was that? Nobody in their right mind. Ah! That wasn't cool. Hey, Satan, can you get me the fuck out of here? Just don't drag me to hell. Just let me go home, please. I don't want any of this. I just want to go home. Like, seriously, bruh? I just want to go home. Please, let me go home. I don't wanna. I don't enjoy this right now. I mean, granted. Ah! It's funny how certain words can remain hidden from your mind, no matter how blatant or obvious they are. One word came to me that night, lying there in the darkness, alone, frightened, aware of a rotting change in the atmosphere, a thickening of the air as if something had displaced it, as I heard the first casual twist of the bed sheets below, the first anxious increase of my heartbeat. At the realization that something was once again in the bottom bunk. That word. A word which had been sent into exile filtered up through my consciousness. Breaking free of all repression, grasping for air, screaming, etching, and carving itself into my mind. A ghost. As this thought came to me, I noticed that my unwelcome visitor had ceased moving. The bedsheets lay calm and dormant, but they had been replaced by something far more hideous. A slow, rhythmic, rasping breath heaved and escaped from the thing below. I could imagine its chest rising and falling with each sordid wheezing and a garbled breath. I shuddered and hoped beyond all hope that it would leave without occurrence. The house lay as it had the previous night, in a thick blanket of darkness. Silence prevailed all but for the perverted breath of my as yet unseen bunkmate. I lay there terrified. I just wanted this thing to go, to leave me alone. What did it want? Then something unmistakably chilling transpired. It moved. It moved in a way different from before. When it threw itself around in the bottom bunk, it seemed unrestrained, without purpose, almost animalistic. For that thing lay there in the darkness. That thing which seemed intent on terrorizing a young boy, calmly and nonchalantly sat up. Its labored breathing had become louder. Now, only a mattress and a few flimsy wooden slats separated my body from that unearthly breath below. I lay there, my eyes filled with tears, a fear which mere words cannot relate to you or anyone else coursed through my veins. I would not have believed that this fear could have been heightened, but I was so wrong. I imagined what this thing would look like sitting there, listening from below my mattress, hoping to catch the slightest hint that I was awake. Imagination then turned to an unnerving reality. It began to touch the wooden slats which my mattress lay on. It seemed to caress them carefully, running what I imagined to be fingers and hands across the surface of the wood. Then with a great force it prodded angrily between the two slats into the mattress. Even through the padding, it felt as though someone viciously stuck their fingers into my side. I let out an almighty cry, and the wheezing, shaking, and moving thing in the bunk below replied in kind by violently vibrating the bunk as it had done the night before. Small flakes of paint powdered onto my blanket from the wall as the frame of the bed scraped along it backwards and forwards. Once again, I was bathed in light, and there stood my mother, loving, caring as she always has. With a comforting hug and calming words which eventually subdued my hysteria. Of course, she asked what was wrong, but I could not say. I dared not say. I simply said one word over and over and over again. Nightmare. Ooh, what's happening here? This pattern of events continued for weeks, if not months. Night after night, I would awaken to the sound of rustling sheets. Each time I would scream so as to not provide this abomination with time to prod and feel for me. With each cry, the bed would shake violently, stopping with the arrival of my mother, who would spend the rest of the night in the bottom bunk. Seemingly unaware of the sinister force torturing her son nightly. Along the way, I managed to feign illness a few times and come up with other less than truthful reasons for sleeping in my parents' bed. But more often than not, I would be alone for the first few hours of each night in that place. The room where the light from outside did not sit right. Alone with that thing. With time, you can become... With time, you can become desensitized to almost anything, no matter how horrific. I had come to realize that, for whatever reason, this thing could not harm me when my mother was present. I am sure the same would have been said for my father, but as loving as he was, waking him from sleep was almost impossible. Waking me, on the other hand, was no trouble at all thanks to the nightmares. Alright, once again, I'm sorry guys, but I'm gonna have to end this episode here. I did try to make it a little longer than some of the others, at least by a few minutes. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed any of my videos for that matter, hit the like and subscribe button, please. You guys are great. I love you guys. I usually don't, I can't play horror games on my own, so I'm really glad that I can actually play them to entertain you guys. But anyway, as usual, I will see you guys next time.